Hey everyone, they gave us some updated information on the changes in the flight mechanics. So Lightning Dragon and I are going to go over that, and of course schedule changes that are upcoming. Don't mind my voice, I got a really bad cold right now. Anyway guys, let's get to it. Greetings everyone, and welcome to another week of BlastCast. Once again with me is my bastion of common sense, Lightning Dragon. And of course, first off, I'd like to address something that's happening on YouTube currently. They've kind of changed the way their algorithms work again. Now everything is based on interactivity, comments and likes and things on videos more than anything else. Also, they've been unsubbing people from channels they're subscribed to, and you may want to check your subscriptions to see if someone is still there. It's kind of an annoying thing. YouTube likes to do this once in a while. Basically grab the chessboard and flip over all the pieces. But we're not the largest channel, so I don't think it affects us too much. Though to be honest with you, that does kind of explain why the last couple Blastcasts have had about half the views as normal. So, unless we just happen to be not very interesting.
Or just slow news and stuff.
Slow news, yeah, that's true. So let's go over the first thing we want to talk about this week is, of course, the schedule update. And, of course, there are some delays, and if you look at the timeline, there are some things that appear to be looking like they're coming out ahead of schedule. So let's go into the delays. Originally, last week, we said that they looked at having the game go to live by December 8th. And now it looks like they're looking to release this around December 16th. So 8 days pushed back. And the delays were due to things like key employee illnesses and features taking more time to refine. These features were things listed as grenades, death hit reactions, ragdoll mechanics, looting, missile guidance, ship balance, G-forces refinement, network code, and a few other minor things.
Network code!
Oh,
Yay,
always the
let's hope
network
they
code.
Fix it.
Oh yeah, that network code is that's the thing too. I keep wondering about that because the idea of refining a network code, they're essentially stripping out in 3.0. I don't know. Maybe there's some carryover here, but the 3.0 net code is, I think, is what all of us are waiting for, where we can start finding out exactly how many cups of coffee Bob has had to drink in the station 4 light years away. So the good news, of course, is if you look at the original schedule, they had ships listed in the future, like for 3.0 all the way to 4.0. You'll see that we're actually ahead a little bit in these areas. It looks like the development of the Drake Caterpillar and the 85X, the small jump ship that comes with the 890 jump, were like the Caterpillar was originally slated as a 3.0 ship and the 85X is a 3.1. And according to development here, it looks like they're actually, it says here, like the bug testing phases or whatnot. So it looks like, we're getting these ships way ahead of schedule, most likely. If not hangar, if not, both
Probably because
hangar
it's
and
taking them
flyable.
so long to fix all the other bugs where there's nothing related to the ships, it's just art assets.
Yeah, but it shows how refined the pipeline the ships has gotten to. They're actually beating their own schedule by quite a wide margin, and that's good. That's good. So, some delays, but for those of you looking at getting a hold of some ships that you had in your lineup that you may thought you had to wait even longer on, you may not have to. You may not have to. So that's great news. So a little bit of sunshine in an otherwise rainy day. But the main thing we wanted to talk about outside of the schedule update was on Around the Verse. They discussed a couple major changes to flight mechanics. The biggest one they discussed, I think, was the fact that they said that cruise mode has been removed from the game, and that Afterburner is now the mechanic that's used to reach cruise speeds. Now, how this works is that basically, in a straight line, when you engage Afterburner, once you get to maximum speed, you hit a maintenance fuel usage, and you still burn a little bit of fuel, but it's a small percentage of what the original was to maintain that speed. And that allows crews to be used for either straight line getting away or traveling from point A to point B in a non-jump capacity faster. The downside is, of course, is that if you're doing that just to travel around, if you do actually need boost, and you burned up almost all your fuel, you're going to find yourself in a situation, combat-wise, that where you could actually be in big trouble. So it's one of those things that it does actually put a little bit of risk versus reward on that. And I have always agreed with risk versus reward when it comes to anything with flight or flight mechanics. The thing is that of course is the fuel. How much fuel? How long does it take to recharge that fuel? I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but that's going to be a major key of
The
how.
step in the right direction as well.
Well, right, yeah. The thing is that with the fuel mechanics, though, I mean, this whole mechanic can be negated if, in a sense of how it affects things. If your fuel scoops recharge things too quickly, then it becomes more of basically a sprint bar. Like you see in an FPS or something like that. It needs to be something I think with more cost, more effect than just that.
Oof, yeah, a sprint bar. I didn't think about that. That'd be awful, really.
Yeah. So, I've always thought that instead of doing something, I have no problems with scoops on ships. In fact, I think what scoops should do is add to your total fuel pool in your ship, or reduce the amount of fuel that's dissipating. For example, like
Or
if you're,
just increase your recharge time. For example, if you wanted to take off your pylons and you want to put extra fuel tanks, you have a longer boost duration because you have more fuel. Or you could put additional scoops on there, so while you can't boost for as long as someone who has drop tanks, your boost will recharge faster.
well, what I was actually thinking was that, okay, let's just make up a number here. Let's say you have 1,000 fuel. Okay. And as you're flying through space normally, you're burning, let's say, 100 fuel every 100 minutes, or every 10 minutes or something. So 10 fuel a minute. And if you're in deep space, you may only be recovering like one. And so, but but if you fly into, say, like a nebula or something like that, where there's actually a thicker, there's more gas, you may actually be able to do, in this case, maybe like 15. So you're actually replenishing your ship a little bit, for standard usage, not quantum fuel, but just the hydrogen or whatnot that you need to gather.
Whatever
So
your standard fuel tank is.
right, so you have these areas in space where, gas clouds. And you can see some of these systems in where they do the Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, or if you just check out the map online, you see that some of these systems actually have nebula in them and things like that.
Sorry, I had to laugh.
Huh.
Warmaker's Guide to the Galaxy, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like, oh, was that
Uh,
on purpose?
yeah, very much so. In fact, the opening
Oh,
is very,
okay.
the opening is very. And you never watched one of those, huh?
No, I don't
Uh,
watch a lot of this stuff anymore because I'm sick and tired of it. I just want to see a game.
Well, I understand that. That's so. The thing is that no, yeah, it's very much reminiscent of that. So anyway, the point is that I think that scoops I have no problems with. I think how we implement them in the game is important. I think that boost should just come out of a standardized fuel pool. I play World War II flight games, and a lot of times when you're out there flying, when it comes to fuel, you may cut your fuel reserves in half because with a lighter plane, you turn faster, you reduce the weight of your aircraft. But at the same time, the odds of you getting back after a dogfight start going down. So if someone hits your fuel tank, you may have leaky fuel. Now you already started with half fuel, or maybe it's a long distance away. You get to a very intense fight where you're doing a lot of weaping.
Yeah, not to mention web and
Right.
also the fact in a more sim-like game, if you're running your engines at full power all the time,
Right.
you're going to
Overheating.
damage. Yes, you're going to overheat your engines. You're going to damage your engines.
Right.
So when you're doing the dogfights, you're running like maybe 70 to 80% until you like need to, like you go into a climb, you need all that power, but you want to be using your maneuvers to keep your speed up or keep your positioning up more in a World War II type setting because there's damage to parts. And once again, that's another thing that's wrong with Star Citizen right now. It's more of a shooter than anything else. I mean, you could
No, I
almost
tend
say
to
it's
agree.
like
It's
the
very
new
much a
Call of
shooter.
Duty in space.
Right. Well, the thing is that that's why we need to see these complex systems come online, because I think until they do, we're really still. I mean, we're still very much dealing with a heavy shooter, very much a Twitch-based kind of thing. But we need to see these systems come online. But I agree with another point you bring up, is that I believe that it should come out of a limited fuel pool, and if it runs out, basically you're out of standard flight fuel. You may be able to quantum drive away and drift from wherever you get out, and be like 10 kilometers out from a station and say, hey, could you guys send a fuel guy out here? I'm kind of
But
done.
talking about actually running out of fuel brings up another thing that I've talked about a lot, and that is, like an acceleration system, right? It's
Yeah,
not based on
acceleration based throttle.
yeah. But I mean, I've played a lot of the current system, so I'm very, very used to the game as it is. But when I go to play Kerbal, because it is an acceleration based model, I'm not in that mindset because I'm not thinking like a dogfighting game where a
Right.
dogfighting game is you have a set throttle. So if they had, I hate to say this, I'm gonna hate myself as soon as I say it.
Oh,
If they had a toggle mode to switch between them, and it's bad that I say that because I don't want toggle modes. I want one flight model. That's it. When you
no, I
get in
tend
your
to agree.
ship or whatever, you
Well,
get in your
technically,
ship and you
yeah.
fly it.
Well, technically speaking, if they're getting rid of cruise, they've gotten rid of a toggle mode, and I understand what you're saying. I think acceleration based would be fine, and it seems to some degree from what they were talking about, both in around the verse and also reverse the verse, is that if your speed is at if
Well,
you're main
there's a way they could do it to not have a toggle mode. In Elite Dangerous, when you go up and you set up your controls, you can toggle like, do you want it to be like a toggle? Do you want it to be, when you're pushing the button, it only happens while the button's pushing. So if you go into like how your throttle is, you can say, I want it to be like continuous, like an acceleration one, where basically you accelerate to whatever you want, and then you pull the throttle back, and you stay at that until you do maneuvers, which would let off your speed because you're changing directions. Or you have it where it's in the set mode, I guess. You'd have maybe free or set, and in set, what you do is when you put the throttle to wherever you want, it says, okay, they want to go at this speed because that's the ship they're in. It knows the scale. I mean, it should know.
yeah,
So
but
when
I
you
think
set it 50%, it goes to 50% regular speed.
I think that could probably get to. I think they're trying to simplify things. I think that would overcomplicate it. The thing is that with Star Citizen, we've got a lot of controls, we've got a lot of buttons, and I think they're trying to bring
Yeah,
it down
that's
a little
another
bit.
problem.
The thing
And
is that
especially when you're trying to set up your ship
now,
mechanics and you
now,
go into your details.
there are 2 points that you made I want to address real quick. One is that I was talking about the fuel mechanics. Is that I said it comes out of a universal pool. When you run out, you're running it. If you're only taking 1 out of 10, you'll be flying at 10% speed. But I think it should come out of overall fuel pool. And also when you're boosting, there should be a heat mechanic and possibly damaging. Apparently, boost can be used with afterburner, meaning that I guess boost refers to just a thruster boost. So you can use boost in conjunction with afterburner at the same time, which means that
That's
sounds like
convoluted.
a little bit. I would agree. I think it's odd to have. I think boost on the thrusters frankly, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a bad idea. I
The
think
only way it would be good is like I don't know if I've mentioned this in the BlastCast before, but like the space shuttle, right? The space shuttle's retired, but when they initially designed the space shuttle, the engines were designed between 0% throttle and 100% throttle. And as they learned how to build it better and got more efficient engines and better cooling and stuff, the space shuttle actually had 120% throttle because it was better than the original design. So if they had something similar to that, where boost is when you go over 100%, you are literally forcing the engines to work harder. But you need to have a consequence for doing this.
And that's what I talked about. It's acceleration-based throttle. Like if you're going to accelerate, and you're accelerating, let's just say that, and I've had a personal opinion that ships should cap out at about 1,000, and then say 1,250 is the most. But at 1,000, your acceleration slows down. The reason this is because it's a network code issue. I get that they have to cap things off because of network code, and if they don't, then speeds will become ridiculous for them to track.
And the fact that if you try and chase up to somebody, you might have 1 to 2 seconds delay on the server, and then 1 to 2 seconds on your client, so you could have up to 4-second delay in game. And in a
That'd be terrible
dogfight,
connection.
that's That's worthless.
Well, that's and the reason I think they're trying to slow down the flight mechanics. Well, but anyway, so an acceleration-based model. Let's say that everyone in a straight line. See, the idea that boost can get up to cruise speed, I get, but I think boost should. I think standard flight should be able to get up to cruise speed as well. It just takes longer. To me, it's like boost is one of those ways that you would get up to that ceiling very quickly.
Additional throttle.
Well, additional fuel costs, heat,
Yeah.
and things like that. And at standard one, say I set my throttle to acceleration to 25%, and I could reach the cruise speed maximum in about let's just throw out a number, say 5 minutes, okay? Where boost I can do it in 30 seconds, or afterburner in 30 seconds. But the difference is afterburner I'm running effectively 200%, and when I'm just traveling on normally I'm at
So you're
25%.
forcing your engines to work hard as
Yeah,
possible.
and you're increasing your sig. You've got more heat. You're burning more fuel. The other way is a little bit stealthier. The other way is just kind of letting a constant acceleration constantly increase your speed until you hit the game max. And to me, cruise isn't needed, nor I think that afterburner should be the only way to reach cruise speeds. I think just going in a direction with an acceleration throttle, given a certain amount of time, should just go ahead.
Phone messages.
And tell me about it. So basically, I think that's all that should need to be done. And but other than that, I mean, this is a mechanic that we're going to have to see how it works over time.
Yeah, I mean, none of us have touched it, so.
And of course, guys, this is an important thing. When you get out there, remember the persistent universe. When you're out there playing things, this is a test ground. And the important thing is to make your voice heard. If there's something you like, if there's something you don't like, never just assume that things are going to be the way they're going to be. It's your voice out there posting on the forums. It's your voice out there filing bug reports and opening up these discussions. They're going to make the devs understand things. This goes from everything from IM interactive mode all the way down to everything. No, this is important. How zero order versus first order controls, everything down the line, the fuel mechanics, all of this. And it's important for you to get your voice out there because now is the time when changes can happen. It's better to have a delayed game with really great systems, as opposed to one that comes out in some arbitrary release date that is all just helter skelter and just all over the place.
Broken.
Yeah, this is you are a unique opportunity as a backer of Star Citizen to get in there and make your voice heard, because I don't think you can think of any game out there that has let the community have so much of a voice at the same time to kind of come out there and either just state their opinion, argue, or call each other names, whatever. That's
I know there's some games that have done this, but I don't think on the same level as Star Citizen.
Yeah, not to this extent. And so that's the important thing. It's not about leaderboards. It's not about points. It's not about who's got kills who. This is overall. This is a mechanics. This is a testing bed. So get out there, make your voice heard, talk about it, debate it, and listen to what people have to say, because sometimes you'll find that you disagree. Some of the positions that you were holding against now, with enough argument or enough reason, you realize maybe I'm wrong on something.
Or you overthink something.
Yeah, there's been a few positions that I've changed on a little bit, but generally speaking, I've kind of kept the same positions. But there have been some that I've drifted on a little bit because as I've understood more refined terminology and how things work. So that's the thing, though. You have to listen. So I don't mean to lecture anybody here. Of course, that's not what this channel is for. But all I'm trying to say in short here is just basically make your voice heard. This is important. We're getting down to the wire. Things as we get closer to the Squadron 42 coming out, things are going to be more and more set in stone. So it's be loud, be heard, and if you're passionate about something, get out there and fight for it. Because otherwise, if you're just one of those people who doesn't visit the forums and hates something the way it is, you're giving silent consent. Don't do it. So anyway, guys, just a general overall view, the discussion about things that are coming up, things that are changing, some delays, and we just want to keep you informed of what's going on around here and give you our general thoughts on things. We'll tell you when we love something, we'll tell you when we don't. And as far as the fight mechanics changes, Don't know yet. We'll have to see because it's a lot.
And as soon as I get my hands on it, you're gonna have an honest opinion
Oh.
for me because
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't fucking hold back.
Well, it's the second he gets his hands on, I'm just going to do. We'll start the BlastCast. I'll put my mic down on my stand, and I'll go make a sandwich, and I'll let him just go, and I'll come back. I'll just come back, and I like put my ear up to the mic as it's on the stand, see if up to the headset, and see if he's stopped
It's
talking.
still ranting.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, he's still going. Okay, well, I'm gonna go, make some fries too or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna go cook an omelet, and then I'm gonna. Oh, dude, I can't think of any food off the top of my head now. No more BlastCast. It's over. We're done.
All right.
Get out of here.
All right, anyway, guys, see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.